One. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Albert Hammond grew up in Gibraltar, and in 1960, Albert left school, formed a band, and began sending out recordings of his first compositions to labels in England, where they were released by Parlophone Records. Soon thereafter, Albert met Mike Hazlewood, and almost immediately they teamed up as collaborators and began gaining recognition as a songwriting team. Little Arrows, Make Me an Island, Gimme Dat Ding, Freedom Come, Freedom Go, Good Morning Freedom, all written by a great team. Gimme That Ding was written for a children's television program called Oliver and the Overworld, which starred Freddie and the Dreamers. Having become one of Britain's most successful songwriting teams, Albert and Mike decided to move to Southern California. Albert played his songs to every record company possible until Hal Landers and Bobby Roberts gave him his first artist contract ever for their newly built Mums label, a division of CBS's Epic label. After auditioning for CBS President Clive Davis and over 30 other people, Albert was asked to record some songs. Albert went into the studio to record what would become the It Never Rains in Southern California album. The title song went to number 5 in the US and became a worldwide success. This offered Albert the opportunity to tour, which led him to almost all continents. Albert went on to record 7 English language albums for the CBS label. Hammond is known for a lot of hits. Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, recorded by the Starship. One Moment in Time, sung by Whitney Houston. The Air That I Breathe, big hit for the Hollies. To All the Girls I've Loved Before, Julio Iglesias and Willie Nelson duet. And When I Need You by Leo Sayer, just a few of the many hits that Albert Hammond is known for. Please welcome legendary singer, songwriter, musician, and record producer Albert Hammond to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Albert.
Hi, Ray. that was nice to hear.
And you've written a lot of songs.
Yes. I don't realize, I mean, as I'm doing these interviews, I'm going to be 80 in May,
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. And as I'm doing these interviews and I hear these things back, I think, wow, that's amazing. I mean, because you don't realize, you just live your life and move on, and when you look back, it's amazing. Yeah, it really is.
And financially, you did it right because just to make a hit and not be the songwriter, of course, you don't get paid like the songwriter does. So you've done it right.
Thank you. And also, it's great to go to a restaurant and nobody knows who you are.
Yeah, I know. That's the only difference, I guess. I'd rather have a paycheck and the royalties. I want to talk about the new album. It's 2 CDs. It's called Body of Work. Here's what I said about it. Okay. Legendary singer and songwriter Albert Hammond triumphantly returns with his first album of original material in 20 years. An eclectic mix of monumental music. Hammond's songs always sound like they belong at the top of the charts, and his new release, Body of Work, is no exception. So I gave it 5 stars. I think it's a great album.
That's one. I mean, I'm so happy you like it. I mean, and that's a wonderful, beautiful review. I mean, all the respect for you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It was actually recorded in a couple places, right? Nashville, Berlin. Talk about that. Talk about when you recorded it.
Well, I went through a little bit of a tough time, the last 7 or 8 years, and it was quite a weight on my shoulders. I got vocal atrophy and I got an autoimmune disease, and I just music has always been my savior. I think music heals. I really do. And so I called my friend John Bettis and said, hey, John, I'm in the mood just to write, you know. I'm in Berlin. I'm talking to a friend of mine, Matthias Roska, and he's at the Hansa Studios in Berlin.
Right.
And a lot of wonderful artists have recorded there, from Bowie and U2 and just many of them. And it just felt right, you know. So he said, great, let's write, you know. So we wrote like, you know, a song a week or every couple of weeks. And as I wrote them, I went into the studio to record them, you know, and we wrote about, I don't know, 35, 40 songs.
Oh, wow.
And then I decided with Matthias to go to Nashville, almost like, you know, the early 70s, and find, you know, that wrecking crew band, you know, that plays for everybody, you know. And I did, and I really have to also credit what a great band, and how they got into this record, these songs. You know, I gave them lyrics, I sang live to them, I, you know, explained a bit about, you know, it's my life, it's 80 years in this world, and I'm looking back at all that and what's going on today, and they just gave me just the right things, even a bit of psychedelic stuff.
Exactly. I noticed that on several tracks, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
I explained to them that as these songs were being written,
Hmm.
and I chose 17 to do. It really felt like the White Album, you know,
Right.
where there are so many different kinds of songs in it that you don't expect it on a record, you know. And yeah, they it seems, you know, that I've connected to everyone, you know, to
Hmm.
John Bettis, to Matthias, to the band,
Right.
to now to Ear Music, the record company that's putting it out, to all you guys who seem to love the record. So
Hmm.
um, I must have done something right, or at least the universe was with me, you know.
You can perform anything, any type of music. You're very eclectic, which is cool. You know,
Yeah,
nobody
I
can pigeonhole you, you know,
no,
to one
I love
genre.
it because I'm because having, you know, being a Gibraltarian, you know,
Hmm.
I also know Spanish, so I also had a lot of success in the Latin market, you know, and in fact, as much as in the English market. I'm probably more well known as a singer in the Spanish market
Hmm.
than I am in the English market. I suppose when you write so many songs for all these incredible artists that you never would have believed that you could have done, you know. And I suppose they look at you more as a songwriter than a singer-songwriter,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, you know. But I do go out every now and then and tour, and yeah, and I just love to make people happy. You know, I think I've probably made hundreds of millions of people happy in my lifetime,
Hmm.
and, and you know, I'm very grateful for that, and I feel very good about it, you know.
I'm half Cubano.
Ah, muy bien.
What other languages do you speak? Because I know you do a lot of international stuff.
Yeah, no, that's it. I mean,
That's it.
yeah, that's it. I mean, I did I did sing a Japanese song
Hmm.
in 1973 when I toured with 10 Years After in Japan.
Right.
Uh, and I did learn at least a first verse of a Japanese song, and then I forgot the second. So I asked 10,000 people if they would sing it while I played the guitar, and they did. And they did, and it was amazing. You know?
All I know is arigato and mushi mushi.
And oishi means delicious.
Oh, delicious. Okay. Yeah, I like the Japanese language. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Japanese people and the
Yeah.
food.
Yeah. Very clean country, right? They're very, very
Yes,
clean. Yeah, the streets are clean, you know,
yes,
not like
yes.
over here. You mentioned 10 years after. That's very cool. I hung out with Alvin Lee uh,
Yeah,
backstage at one of his shows in Washington, D.C. He's such a nice man. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
sad the way he died so young,
yeah.
you
I
know.
know, I know. So many people are dying young,
I
you
know,
know.
yeah, even at my age, you know, I just turned 65 and
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. it's just incredible. Yeah, I'm glad I'm going to be 80. At least I won't die young.
Exactly. Hey, I made it this far. I'm going to talk about the tracks on the album. Don't Bother Me, Babe. Great intro. Psychedelia, like you mentioned, with the guitars. The other night I had a dream. I was surrounded by guitars. Don't Bother Me, Babe. The sky was red. The sun was blue. It was a concert up on
Up
Mars.
on
Don't Bother
Mars.
Me, Babe. I love the lyrics.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
should
Well,
be,
it relates to my life, and it relates to what's going on today. I mean, Elon Musk,
yep,
wants to go and to Mars.
yep.
So it wasn't a bad idea to write a verse like that.
Well, you
Uh,
can't go wrong by writing about space, you know, or UFOs.
or UFOs. Yeah,
Everyone's into that.
it's
Uh,
crazy. Isn't it?
yeah, Shake a Bone is a catchy tune, and it kind of had a little bit of a Peter Gabriel influence, in my opinion.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, kind of
yeah,
his
yeah.
thought
Yeah,
process when he writes
yeah,
music.
the beauty of songs when
Hmm.
I mean I've noticed, I've written enough to have noticed that um, even one song, you take each song and
Right,
it means different to thousands of people,
exactly.
and it's amazing, you get somebody quoting your song this way, another
Hmm.
person this way, and you go, it's the same song. How can that be?
Exactly.
It's just how you perceive it.
That's
That's
right. It's
that's beautiful. It's
it's an
almost
open book.
magical,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Um, Gonna Save the World was very interesting.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Kind of
Yeah.
people protesting, and you're protesting and protesting about this and that and whatever. Talk about that one.
Well, I mean, you never get anywhere, it seems.
That's good.
So really, I should have called it what it is. You think
Yeah.
you're going to change the world, but it was too long of a title. So, gonna change the world. It also makes people think, oh, let me hear this.
Yeah.
Gonna
It's
save
funny
the
because
world.
10 years after they did I'm going to change, I want to change the world, but I don't know how. Alvin Lee said
Yes,
that too.
yeah, yeah. Which is really the same kind of thing, isn't it? When you think
Yes,
about it,
it is.
because people want to. I mean, they do go out. I mean, look at the millions and millions of people that are going out in the world today protesting,
Hmm.
and nothing's really happening. I mean,
I know.
it's almost like I don't know, like democracy doesn't exist or something,
Yeah.
because it seems that nobody listens to anybody. They just do whatever they want, especially the powerful that can,
Hmm.
you would think that, these people in suits would be nicer,
Exactly. I'm writing a book about that now, by the
Oh,
way.
cool,
Yeah.
cool,
It's
cool.
my
About what's
fourth book.
going on, right?
Yeah. Well, pretty
Okay.
much. And about the press
Mm-hmm.
and, that kind of thing,
It's too one-sided, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of,
That's why I'm really waiting for the Tucker Carlson
mhm.
interview. I want to hear what maybe we hear something that's a little more truthful.
I think it's on YouTube now. I think I saw it
Is
on
it?
YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, cool. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I thought it was going to be on Twitter, on
It
X.
is. Yeah. I saw parts of it, I guess, on YouTube.
Okay, and he's been like destroyed. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
sanction him. They want to do all kinds of things.
Yeah. I know.
It's amazing.
It's a crazy world, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, again, I wrote a song that starts off with that line, living
Mhm.
in this crazy world, so caught
Exactly.
up in the confusion, nothing is making sense for me and you,
Yeah.
so, and it was a song that Ziggy Marley recorded,
Hmm.
and then Aswad, this
Hmm.
English group that did Don't Turn Around also, and they had a number two and a number one record with it
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Seems like nothing's changed, history repeats itself. I just thought about the Temptations and Ball of Confusion. Remember that?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
Edwin Starr with his big hit
yeah,
War. It
yeah.
was a
Oh,
good
I love
four,
that.
you know?
It's funny because when that song was out and I was mastering It Never Rains in Southern California,
Right.
I told Doug Sachs at the mastering lab in LA, I said, I want my record to sound as loud as that one. You know? so when it came on the air, it just blasted out.
Yeah, yeah. I love the R&B singers, back in the 60s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wilson
That
Pickett, he was one of my
Motown stuff
favorites.
was great too.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
That's what I don't understand about music today because we had everything in the 60s. 60s was the greatest decade, I think, of music.
yeah. I think 60s and 70s.
Yeah, the 70s also. But,
Yeah.
then instead of getting better, it didn't get better,
Yeah. Well, it's. I don't think it's about better or worse because in every era there's
Mhm.
been good music and bad music.
Right.
But I think as synthesizers came in and then technology came in,
Yeah.
then it started to be that anyone could write a song.
Yeah.
With the help of all these different technologies.
Yeah.
And so that's what you probably feel.
Mhm.
It's not as good, but if you just played the song on a guitar, you might love it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
100%. I always said, I told Tom Rush this, there's nothing like a single performer on stage with a guitar and a story. That's it.
That's right, because of the intimacy of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's vulnerable. You can
Mhm.
really, you can really be there on stage with the guy, or the girl.
Yep. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Both ways. Kind of sounded like
Oh,
a cowboy blues song in a
that's
way.
my favorite. That's one of my
That's your
favorites.
favorite?
Probably one of my favorites. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it's so true. That every road you travel runs both ways. So yeah, it's just so meaningful that yeah. I mean, it's just I mean, I wish one of these huge country singers would pick it up and do it. I think you know, it would explain a lot of things of what's going on too. You know.
I think you're 100% right. I mean, in some of these songs, I could hear a big country artist doing this and hitting the
Yes.
charts and I
Yes.
mean, like they do Across the River. That's one of my favorite tracks. It's kind of a
Yeah.
rockabilly and it's a very,
It's like a
very catchy tune.
rockabilly, and I'm quite known for these kind of things.
Hmm.
From I'm a train, I'm a chick train, I'm a chick
Yeah.
train. You know, so that's something that is in me. So it came out of me. It's one of those.
That one could be a big hit on the country charts, I think.
Yes, 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 and also it really also talks about the inequality in the world today.
Hmm.
Where you've got the very rich and the very poor, and the middle class
Exactly.
is on its way out.
Yeah,
And yeah, so it makes a lot of sense.
it does. Knocking on your door, missing you like crazy, like I'm guilty of a crime.
Yeah.
That's a cool, very, very cool lyric. I would make this one a hit too. That
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it started off that way. I was never much for talking. I was busy getting by.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, it's just one of those songs. When I played it to a friend of mine, they just kept saying, "Could you play it again?" And
Yeah.
then play it again, and then could you play it again? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a great song. It really is.
I think it's a yeah. I think the album has a quality to it that
It does.
if you tried hard to do it,
Hmm.
you wouldn't achieve it. And
Yeah.
because I just connected, and I'm in a good place.
Hmm.
I mean, my energy is good. I believe in loving people and in compassion and in
Hmm.
forgiveness and in
Hmm.
giving with it not expecting anything back and all that kind of stuff. And I wake up every morning saying, to myself how grateful I am that I'm still here,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
so many of my friends have gone,
I
that are
know.
younger than me. So I think all that has a lot to do with this, with the music that I'm
Hmm.
involved with now myself, what comes out of me,
Hmm.
um, and I wish I could. I could tell the world that if we're nicer to each other and kinder and more loving,
Hmm.
that life becomes a wonderful thing rather
Yeah.
than a terrible thing.
Yeah. Why complain? It's not going to
Right.
help.
No, no. Life is suffering anyways, because when you suffer,
Exactly.
you learn. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, if you never suffer, you never learn anything.
That's
So
right.
suffering is learning, and
Yep.
yeah. Well, I try to put it across.
Hmm.
Uh, some people will hear me, but I probably won't sell that many records. And radio's not going to play. They don't even play like
I know.
Stewart. I mean, new stuff, old stuff, they play of mine too,
Yeah.
But new stuff, it doesn't seem that they play it. So
Yeah.
um, it's just one of those things. But it doesn't matter. I
Hmm.
I leave it behind when I'm
Hmm.
gone. Maybe some young kid 50 years from now discovers one of the songs and
Exactly.
is successful with it, and that'll make me happy when when I'm energy, only energy, not a.
Well, I'm going to promote the hell out of it.
Thank you.
I think it's a great album.
Thank you.
Um, Albert, you look great, by the way. You
Oh,
look like you're my age or younger. How do you do it? How do you do it?
I quit smoking like
Okay,
20 years ago.
good for
I,
you.
I quit drinking
Right.
uh, like 5, 6 years ago.
Hmm.
Uh, and I exercise
You
every
do
day.
exercise.
I
Yeah,
exercise every day. I do my treadmill. I run.
that's what I'm
Uh,
guilty of. I'm not exercising. I write a lot. I'm sitting down a lot, and I'm behind a computer a lot. So,
well, yeah, but
you
that's
know,
your job too. But you have
yeah,
to find the time, you
right.
know, somehow,
Hmm.
because it does make a difference to the quality of your life
I
too.
agree.
It isn't how long you live, but
Yeah,
how you lived.
exactly.
You can live 100 years. I don't want to live 100 years if I'm sick,
Right,
if I
right.
can't move or. So yeah, it's just, people say as you get older, you get grumpier.
Hmm.
It's
Not
different with,
true. I don't
you
think
know,
so.
as I get older, I get wiser and I feel better.
Hmm.
And I mean, there's so many great things
Hmm.
that I can see
Hmm.
coming in life.
Hmm.
Hopefully, I'll be lucky enough not to get some bad disease.
Right, right.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was grumpy when I was 24. That's I was more
Exactly,
grumpier back then.
or even 18.
Yeah, 18, exactly. Young Llewellyn, that's an awesome track. I call this one epic and cinematic, and it had elements of progressive rock in it. That's just what I
Yeah,
hear.
well,
Mhm.
John and I thought about, what's going on,
Mhm.
like in the world today, these proxy wars.
Right,
And we thought of, how to bring it in
right.
without having to talk about that.
Mhm.
And this Welshman always, he couldn't do anything about it when the British came and took their land. But he did after they were settled. He said, "Okay, now is our time." So
Yeah.
and so we thought we'd write that. And when I got to Nashville, the guitar player because I played it all acoustically, and
Right.
the guitar player started to play this kind of riff,
Yep.
that where it starts and I said, "Oh, that's great."
Mhm.
And so he kept it going,
Mhm.
and then the electric stuff came in the chorus,
I love it.
and yeah, and yeah, and it's a story. Again, it's a story. It's knowledge. I mean,
Mhm.
young Llewellyn did exist, and there's a statue of
Huh.
him in Wales. So yeah.
Love it. Great tune. Gonna Be All Right reminded me of early Beatles, like the skiffle
Yes.
music kind of,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
rockabilly, it's skiffle. that kind of thing. That's another great track, you know?
Yeah, I thought, with all these things that I'm trying to put across,
Right.
uh, there's got to be a song that at the end says, but we're going to be all right.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought it would give it a color. I thought it would give it a smile,
Right.
and it complements, when you go against the grain sometimes,
Hmm.
it really works. It worked with Julio Iglesias and Willie Nelson. I mean,
Hmm.
totally two different people from two
Exactly.
different worlds. And I
Yeah.
put that together with that song. And, To All the Girls I've Loved Before. And I realized how great that was because it just attracted people.
How did you get those two together, by the way?
Well, I was actually, To All the Girls I've Loved Before is a song that was like 11 years old when I
Mhm.
was making a record with Julio. And I couldn't tell him that Engelbert Humperdinck had done it and all these people had recorded it, including myself.
Right.
So I went home, I lied to him. I went home, recorded it onto a cassette. And
Mhm.
then I said, on the way to the studio, I said, Julio, I just wrote a brand new song for you today. Just think of this. Julio Iglesias, To All the Girls I've Loved Before.
Perfect.
And he
Perfect.
said, oh, let me hear it. So I played it and he said, we will do that now, right now. And so that night we only had three musicians in the studio, and we actually recorded the song. And then the idea of Willie came because he had just come off this a Stardust album, and
Mhm.
had a #1 record with Always on My Mind.
Yep.
And I told Julio's manager, call Willie's manager, and he said, no, I can't speak English very good, and I said, and he said, you call him. So I called him, and then we got a call back saying, get on a plane and come to Austin, Texas, and we'll record it. So that's what we did, and that's the story of To All the Girls I've Loved Before,
I
a
think. I think
song recorded by many people, 11 years old, and
exactly.
it just waited for the right moment. It's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I was fortunate to see Julio in concert sing that song too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you talk Spanish with Julio?
all the time.
Yeah, all the
Todo,
time. Yeah.
todo el tiempo.
Yeah. Yeah. He's of course he's got that th.
Yeah.
Thinkful.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got the lift that the
Yeah.
king. That's why they
Yeah.
all have that. That's it.
Yeah, him and Banderas also.
Yes.
Antonio Banderas. Did you see the Johnny Carson do it with Willie with
Oh yeah, I was
Julio?
there. I
Oh,
was
you were
there.
there?
I was
Really?
there. I was with Julio. I did like 5 or 6 of his English albums. Yeah, yeah. I
Huh. That was,
produced them, and yeah,
yeah, it was pretty funny.
yeah,
He did a
yeah,
pretty good
yeah,
job,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, when yeah, when Johnny dressed up like Willie, he really did a great job,
He
by
did a
the
good job. I was just so surprised. He did pretty good impressions, you
way.
know?
Yes.
The American Flag, very interesting track.
Sorry, hold on. Sorry,
Oh, no problem.
sorry. Just a second. It's my son. Hey,
Sure.
Albert, can I call you back? I'm in an interview, live. I'll call you back. I'll call you back. Bye. Love you. Bye. Sorry, that was my son, Albert Hammond Jr. from the
From
Strokes.
the Strokes. There you go. Could have got him on the show too. That would have been okay.
Exactly. Why not?
We like the Strokes.
This is a wonderful thing about doing things like this.
Yeah,
That what happens, it all works, doesn't it?
it
I
does
mean,
work.
it could have been my daughter, who's just a
Yeah,
psychologist. That wouldn't
yeah,
have worked. But it was my son, and we're talking about music. You know. So when you're connected, you're really connected.
exactly. I love Zoom. I think Zoom is great.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
How long
Where
does it last?
how what the interview or
No, the Zoom thing. They last like 40 minutes or something, don't
no
they?
no no no. I can actually get like 50 people at once.
Oh, really?
So when
Wow.
you pay for
But you
that,
but you see them very small, right?
yeah, yeah, but you
Yeah.
can still get 50 people on a call. So
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if they don't see you very well, who stops talking first?
exactly. exactly. Not that I want 50 people on a call,
No.
but I do it for the bands because sometimes I interview the whole group,
Mm,
and there's
yeah, yeah, and,
4 or 5
that's
people.
nice. That's
Yeah,
nice, yeah,
sure.
yeah. And they're probably all in the same room or in different places.
Different places usually,
Oh, wow.
and
Yeah.
they all buzz in at different time, the
Yeah.
same time, but
You know,
different.
it's so great. There's so many good things about technology and so
Yep,
many bad things.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and now we got artificial intelligence to worry about.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know what's going to happen there.
Well, that's going to be the end of all of us, I
Oh,
think.
they won't need us anymore.
They won't need us anymore. No.
Yeah. Talk about the American flag.
Well, the American flag, I mean, basically, it's about all these media people that
Hmm.
have the power and the money to drown you and destroy you whenever they want. So
Yeah.
uh, I mean, there was a line, the DOJ, the FBI destruction on parade, but
Hmm.
we thought maybe we'd get into a lot of trouble if we did that. So we took
Exactly.
that one out and put one in that's a little more soft.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I really felt that, because it's true.
Hmm.
Um, we and it's not about a flag and it's not about a country. It's about a world.
Right.
We actually, I mean, think about this little rock in the middle of this huge universe, and here we are killing each other.
I know.
I mean, why? Over a piece of land. Uh, I mean, there's enough room and
Yeah.
there's enough food if we would love each other more and connect with each other more and work it out so that, that everyone has what they need.
Hmm.
I mean, really, what do we need? We need water, we need food, we need air,
Hmm.
like the air that I breathe,
Right.
Uh,
That's a nice plug.
you know,
Another great song by you.
I love that song. Yeah.
Oh, and the Hollies do it so well too, don't
Oh
they?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also Simply Red did a great R&B version of it too. Um, I don't know if you're familiar with
Oh
Simply
yeah.
Red, the
Sure.
band,
They're a great band.
but a
Yeah.
great band and a great
Yeah.
singer.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm really amazed. I don't know how I did it. I don't want to know. I love the mystery of it all. I just want to keep going. I
Yeah.
really in this creative mood. I mean, I really, I said to the record company, do I have to do every day these things? I really would love to write some more songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've actually I started in November of last year doing a Christmas album. And I wrote a couple of songs and there'll be about 15 or 17 songs on the
Oh,
Christmas.
fantastic.
And it'll be two originals and the rest will be things I chose and did it in my style. And yeah, I'm excited about it. It'll be out probably in November.
Fantastic. No, if you really want to make tons of money, you get a Christmas hit
Yes,
because it's played every year,
at
like
least once a
clockwork.
year,
Yeah,
you're
once a
getting.
year. And just think, Jose Feliciano with,
Yes, yes,
Feliz Navidad, such a simple song, but it
yes,
it
yes. Well,
became
you
a
don't
huge
need a
hit.
complicated song.
No,
I mean,
not at
I
all.
mean, what's better than a nursery rhyme? We can
Right.
still sing them. So it's things you remember. So
Exactly right.
don't complicate anything.
Well, the timeline of our lives are measured by music. It really
Yes,
is. I can go back and hear a song and know exactly what I was doing at that time.
yes, and where you
Never
were.
Rains in California. I mean, I got so many great memories for that song. That was a good time. That was a feel-good song too.
That
You
was a
know?
feel-good song, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
I arrived in LA in 1970, in January 1970,
Right.
and I did I didn't have, I had 50 pounds in my pocket. I think at the time was $250, you know.
Hmm.
So I stayed at the Knickerbocker Hotel on Ivor Street in Hollywood. Um, and it was like an old people's home kind of, because somebody died every day
Oh
in
gosh.
the elevator or tap dancing on the lobby, you know.
Oh my gosh. You do what you got to do though.
You do what you got to do, yes. And you know what? When I think of those things, it's just incredible, you
Yeah.
know, you know that you went through all that stuff,
Yeah.
and what an adventure, you
Yeah.
know.
I talked with the guys from the Commodores,
Yeah,
and they told me that in their early stages of the Commodores, a lot of them slept in one bed, you
yeah,
know,
sure,
Lionel Richie included.
sure, sure, sure,
You know,
sure.
and I'm sure the Beatles did too in the beginning, you know, in their
Well,
Hamburg
yeah.
days.
I
Yeah.
mean, basically, most of us, and if you know, I would say 99.9% of those who actually made it,
Hmm.
you know, came from nothing
That's right.
and made something of themselves. Uh, you know, what's nice is to stay grounded
Hmm.
and stay humble. You know,
Exactly.
no matter what you've done or what you have. You know,
Yeah. I,
um,
I agree 100%. One
you
guy
know,
that always comes to mind, I've had him on the show a ton of times, is Mark Farner from Grain Funk Railroad.
yeah,
Talk about a humble guy. I mean,
yes, yes,
with
yes,
everything that's happened to him, he still
yeah,
remains. You know,
yeah,
his son passed away.
yeah,
They basically, you know, kind of kicked him out of Grand Funk Railroad. I
yeah,
mean, and he was
yeah.
the main songwriter, and
Right,
without him, they don't have a band. You know,
right,
he was
right.
Grand Funk Railroad, but
Yeah,
he stayed so,
he
you know,
stayed. Yeah, he stayed grounded.
he
You
stayed
know,
grounded.
he
Exactly.
you know he
Such a
was
nice guy.
conscious. He was conscious of
Right.
what life is. You know,
Yep.
and if you are life, I'm talking about real life. You
Hmm.
know, not a fantasy. You know, but real life.
Right.
And there's I mean, that's a strong man that can
Hmm.
do that. You know,
Exactly. And you got to have faith. You have faith, and you got to
again,
believe in something. You know,
I'm sorry, I didn't
oh,
hear that.
you got to have faith in
Oh yeah,
something.
yeah, of course,
You
of
know,
course, of
yeah,
course, of course. There are good days and bad days,
right, sure,
but as long as you stay grounded, you know,
right,
and you're grateful and you're compassionate and you're loving, then you're on the right track. You know.
exactly. Living in the universe, I just want to mention, I heard a little David Bowie in that
Yeah,
song.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, really?
You know, I did it at Hansa Studios in Berlin. You know,
Right.
I think that's where he did his Heroes album. You know.
Okay. How about that? It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of people recorded there. U2,
Hmm.
um, yeah, a lot of British artists, you know, recorded in Berlin at the Hansa Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of the what we're talking about, the philosophy of uh, you know um, we can meet anywhere,
Yep.
and as long as there's love,
Hmm.
you know and compassion, then everything works.
Sure. That's right. I agree. The relationship between you and Mike, how was that? That must have been
Mike
great, right?
Hazelwood?
Yeah, Mike Hazlewood.
Well, we had a great relationship, and I didn't know that Mike was gay for like 10 or 11 years,
Hmm.
and uh, he always had beautiful women around him,
Right.
uh, and he wasn't like that. He looked or anything like that. And anyways, I've got tons of gay friends, and um, the only problem was that he actually, fell in love with me, and then it became difficult. I was
Okay.
married with two kids,
Yeah.
and and but I mean, he was. I mean, I was. He was a strong man, because
Hmm.
to be able to come to me and say, "Look, I can't write with you anymore because
Huh.
when I'm with you, I mean, I'm in love." So. Uh,
Wow.
uh, um, yeah, I wrote a song called "The Last One to Know,"
Hmm.
uh, that I put on a B side of a record. yeah, I mean, Mike died in 2001. He
Yeah.
was only 59,
Mm,
and I've missed him ever since. I mean, I've missed him from the time we stopped writing.
yeah.
And then he came back a few years later. He came
Right.
back because when Albert Jr. was born, he held him in his arms, and I took a picture of that, and that was beautiful.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean, I owe Mike my career too. Don't
hmm
forget, we
hmm
started together,
Right.
from nothing. I met him in London in 1964 or 60, yeah, I think 64. And, we started writing and
Mm,
um, we were successful.
yeah. That's interesting, that he was around a lot of beautiful women. Like kind of like Rock Hudson, nobody,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, I
yeah.
mean, good, great looking guy. Always, the women loved him, you know.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
And there have been many,
hmm
that I didn't even know, and then you hear about it.
Yeah.
And not that it matters, they're still human beings, they're good
hmm
people,
hmm
they're talented, all that doesn't matter. I mean, the problem was that he couldn't be next to me, and that was a problem because,
hmm
you know, um, but I miss him.
Yeah.
I wish he was still here. He would
hmm
only be a year older than me, like he was then.
Yeah. How
Uh,
did he pass away?
he actually he always wanted to go to Italy, and
hmm
and so he did. He took a trip to Italy, and he called me like uh, uh, the day before he was coming back and said, "I'm going to stay here an extra 2 days
Right.
because I found this ice cream that tastes so good," and and then uh, I heard about it from his family,
hmm
um, that called me up and said Mike died because he had a heart attack,
Oh my
and
goodness.
they didn't find him for 2 days because he was in his room,
Yeah.
you know, and they said he had a bottle of water clutched to his
hmm
hand,
hmm
and then I went to London to his funeral, and I cried and cried
Yeah.
the whole day. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah.
Really,
I
really
miss.
hits you hard,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
But all that time with somebody.
yeah, he was
Yeah.
family, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Hmm.
loved Mike just in a different way that he
Right.
loved.
Exactly. Yeah, and you and Hal David collaborated on To All the Girls, right?
To all the girls in
Yeah.
99 Miles from LA. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, after Mike, after Mike and I didn't write anymore, you know, I got a call from Hal.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, who said he would like to write with me. And he was very blunt. I mean, he
That's
said,
amazing.
"I'll meet you at 10 o'clock in the morning at my hotel on Wilshire," you know. And I thought, gosh, what am I gonna play for him, So I went home and I smoked a joint, and I
Mhm, mhm.
played the same song for 8 hours. I didn't sleep that night. I played this tune and these words that I made up, and then when I went there at 10 o'clock, I hated the song. I've been playing it for that
Yeah.
long of time, and and so he said, play me whatever you have. Don't worry. Oh gosh, we got to switch that off. And anyways, I sat on a stool and he lay on a couch with a pad, a yellow pad and a pencil, and I started to sing
Mhm.
99, the melody. I had different words, and 15 minutes later, he hands me the pad, and he says, "See what you think," and I
Right.
sang it. I thought, my God, I mean, the images that were, in this song now was like amazing. And yeah, it's probably one of my better songs.
Genius. Genius. Of course, Hal David with Burt Bacharach and Burt
Yeah.
Bacharach with Dionne Warwick. I've had Dionne Warwick on the show. Love her.
Yeah,
She's
yeah. Oh, she's a wonderful lady.
finally getting some accolades in this time because she's huge. I told her the Grammy should have made the statue out of her.
Yes, exactly.
All the songs that she sung.
Instead of a gramophone
Yeah,
record.
exactly. Should be a Dionne Warwick Award. That's great though. Um, all the songs you've written are incredible. How do you write so many songs like that? And you would think a songwriter would also be a great author. I'm an author, but it's not the same, is it?
It's
I mean,
not
I
the
can't
same.
I can't write songs.
Yeah, and
I love to
I can't write a book. I mean,
really.
I can tell you the story of my life. You could write the book for me,
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it for you.
but I can't write the book. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How do you get inspired to write?
Well, it's I connect to good energies wherever
Mhm.
they come, and I feel it coming. I actually, that's why I said to the record company, I really am very creative right now because it comes whenever it comes. I don't know when. I don't sit down like 9 to 5 every day to try and write a song or two or three like some people do. I mean, they write 3 songs a day or something. Uh, I just wait, for the right moment. I wait for that energy to come into me, and then it builds and builds and builds, and then it just wants to explode. And
Right.
sometimes I spend a month, just putting ideas down that I will, later use.
Mhm. Yeah, I do that. I write notes, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. Exactly. I should write more when I come up with like titles. I say things, and
Yeah.
then what did I say? I forgot. I should just write it down immediately.
Yeah. You know who constantly writes little things and puts things on cassettes and ideas and things. He's got a whole office full of cassettes and always thinking is Gilbert O'Sullivan. I had Gilbert
Yeah,
O'Sullivan on the show and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. Well, I have that at home. I have a room that's just full of cassettes. And
really?
now what I do is I found this machine that puts the cassettes onto digital, you
Oh,
know.
really?
So,
Cool.
so I've copied stuff from the mid 70s and late 70s, early 80s,
Hmm.
and wow, some of the stuff is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know,
You own all your own music?
I own most of my own music. I don't
Okay.
own The Air That I Breathe, the Free Electric Band, and It Never Rains. That era, when
Hmm.
I signed to Mums, I had to give up the publishing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But in America, I'm probably going to get it back because you have 53 or 56 years,
Really?
uh, and then you can ask for it back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing now.
Oh, good. Good,
You
good,
know,
good.
trying to get those songs back. Yeah,
A lot of artists have sold
or
their whole.
at least
Yeah.
make a deal with whoever has them.
Right.
So that one plays a little bigger part, and not just as a songwriter, but part of it as in the publishing end.
I
Yeah.
think Paul McCartney bought a lot of his music back from Michael Jackson because Michael Jackson was buying up all the Beatles stuff
Yeah,
back,
that's
back in the
right.
time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
And a lot of artists have sold their whole
well, yeah,
repertoire.
I mean, I get called on that all
Do
the
you?
time. 2 days ago, I got, Sony Music is asking, would you sell? No, not. I
No.
just not right now. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
still active. I'm still here. I
sure.
want to do more. Why would I sell it?
I wouldn't do it.
No, 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 no. It's yeah. I don't know how all these people sold their stuff for money at such, when they're still there. I mean, so,
Yeah.
like Sting and all these people. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. I
You know,
talked to John Kay from Steppenwolf. He sold
yeah,
all this stuff a long time ago. I know Bruce Springsteen did, I think recently.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, John Kay did a song of mine. What was it? Smoky Factory Blues.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, in the 70s. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Another great artist.
yeah.
Yeah.
What a great band too.
Great band.
Steppenwolf. Yeah. Well,
Two,
I
you
have
got another
a,
call coming up?
no, I have a Zoom call at
Okay.
7, a live one on
Okay.
Facebook.
Okay.
and, and there's 10 minutes to go, but I mean, it's
Okay.
fine. If we
I'll
can,
start wrapping up then.
yeah,
Um,
but let's stay in touch.
oh,
You know,
definitely. Sure.
it's interesting.
I
So
do have one question, and then I just want to plug the album.
yeah,
This is a question I ask everybody. I get some really interesting answers. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, that's one of my favorite movies.
yeah, Mike.
To perform or collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Um, I I think I would love to have performed with like an Elvis,
Okay.
and as a writer, I would love to have written a song with like a Johnny Mercer.
Okay. Oh yeah. Good answer.
Yeah,
I haven't
I
had
love.
Johnny Mercer yet. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. Number one answer has been Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
interesting enough, Petula Clark told me Pink Floyd. I still can't
wow.
get over
Well,
that.
I love Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
I mean, I Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff. I mean, in fact, I used to when I made records in the '60s at Lansdowne Studios in London. When I produced records, I
Mhm.
had John Paul Jones do, some arrangements for me, and I had, the band play, a couple of the band play on the thing.
I
You
didn't know
could
that.
you could use their names, but not Led Zeppelin.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah, John Paul Jones was a great studio
Oh,
musician.
he's a great
Oh,
bass player, great
yeah,
musician, and he did great arrangements too.
fantastic. I
Yeah.
want to say special thanks to Hagen. How do you pronounce Hagen's last name?
The guy who
Yeah,
got together with me, Hagen. Oh, I don't know.
Hagen.
I don't know.
Brueggemann? Is it Brueggemann?
Huh?
Brueggemann with a
Let's just call him Bogeyman.
okay, Bogeyman. Hagen Bogeyman.
When I
What
call him back, I'm going to tell him.
Well, thank you, Hagen, for interviewing for this interview with Albert. I really appreciate it. Pre-order the new album by Albert Hammond entitled "Body of Work." I guess you can get it on. I have a link here: hammond.link.to/body of works WE, or just I guess go to your website. It'll be available on Amazon.com as well. For more information about Albert Hammond, go on his official website, www.alberthammond.com. You're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok.
Yeah.
Albert, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. I've been wanting to do this interview for a long time.
I didn't know. Otherwise, we would have
I
a
know, I
long
know.
time.
You guys are the last to know. Keep doing what you're doing. The album's incredible. I love it.
Great,
And much more success, health, happiness, all that good stuff for you and the
great,
family.
great. Thank you very much. Lots of love to all your listeners, and let's stay in touch.
Okay, Albert, we sure will.
Okay, I'll tell Hagen. I'll tell him to send you my email.
Okay, fantastic. Say hello to your
Okay,
son.
I will.
He's
Thanks so
doing great.
much.
He's doing wonderful as well. He's doing great. We love his music.
Yes, I'll call him back after
Okay,
the next interview. Thanks,
fantastic.
Ray.
Thank you, Albert.
Have a good day, man.
You too. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.